Welcome to Power Hour. My name is Farah, and a little bit about me. Oh, wait, first, we have a chat box down below, which it looks like you guys have already found, but we can be using that for questions for now. And then at the end, we will open up for questions on the mic and we can go over stuff then. So, about myself, I've been a nail tech for about 5 years, a little over 5 years now. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be an artist. And then come high school, when I was graduating, everybody told me that artists don't make money. And so I did not pursue it. And I went to college, got a degree in something else, didn't use it. And then I ended up working retail for many years. I always enjoyed painting my nails, but it was never something that I thought of doing for a career. But then one day I stumbled upon some nail tutorials, mostly from My Elegance. And so I got really into watching those and gels and doing gel nails. And I bought what I could without a license. And then did them on myself and my friends for a couple years. And as I went along, my friends were like, "You're getting so good at this and you're doing it all the time. Why don't you pursue it?" And so eventually I did. And now I get to do art on a tiny canvas and I love it. And so I've been doing that since. So yeah, that's my story. Let's get started then. All right. So I've got one coat of this on here. This is a very pretty dark green. And I think it's from our newest collection. And I'm going to pop that in the light. And I think I'm going to do just one coat of that. Because if you look at this here, you can see that the top one covers it pretty well. So the green is just going to kind of be popping through the sides. So we'll do one coat and then switch to our blooming. Okay.
Those colors go so well together.
I know, I love them. I used Catch of the Day last time too. I just feel like it's one of my favorite greens. It's so cute.
It's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Underrated.
I agree. So next we're going to go in with the no wipe top coat. Once that's cured. Oh, and I'm not done with this one yet. We're going to keep using the gel polish brush for this because we want the big kind of chunky spots here versus the little ones. Okay. So we're going to brush on some no wipe top coat and cover the whole nail. Kind of a generous amount, I would say. Like make sure it's nice and coated and floaty and nothing is streaky on it. And then we are not going to cure this. We just want it to set like that. And then we're going to go in with our color. Let me set it on a palette here. Someone said you can use Cutie Base as well. I have not tried it with the base color, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I loved using Cutie Base
Okay.
before the new No Wipe.
Yeah. Okay, so we got some of that on there. This is still wet. So we're gonna go in with our gel brush and just kind of shovel up a little bit onto there. So you can see I got a little gel bubble on there. And then to get this kind of, like you can almost see there's like little pockets and stuff, like openings. We're just going to kind of push it into it. And it does not have to be precise at all. Like you don't need to be perfect with it. So I'm just going to go in and go down the center, kind of push it in a little bit, and then down the sides, like so. And then over here. Could even pick up a little bit more if you need to. And then let that kind of flow a moment. Might put a little bit more there. Ooh, okay, that's fine. There we go. It's very easy. That's all it is. So yeah, and then it looks very organic as it flows. Okay, I think it might be ready to pop into the light. Yeah, all right, let's put it in there. So yeah, as you can see, that's all we do. Takes like 2 seconds. It's a great little add-on. All right. So for our next one, I will show those side by side when they come out. But for the next one, we're going to do exactly the same thing for the most part. But I'm going to show you what it looks like with a buttercream because buttercream is a lot thicker. So it's not going to give you as much flow as the P plus does. But it still has its place. I feel like this is kind of like a snake skin look rather than an alligator look. So yeah, we're going to give it a shot and see the difference. But if you want the big flowy look, you definitely want to go with a P plus. Okay. And that one is almost done in there. Okay. That's what they look like. Very cute. I kind of splooshed that one out a little bit too much, but that's all right. It's organic looking. Very cute. I will move on to this next one. This one I'm going to switch up the colors on. And this time I'm going to use I'm Sensitive as the base. So sticking with a light color. And then instead of black, I'm going to use Temptation, which is the new dark purple that we have. And then we're going to do this exact technique here. All right. So move this aside. And we're going to paint in I'm Sensitive. This is like a nude pink. It's got a nice little shimmer in it. Very cute. All right. And since this one is thinner and the design is thinner, we will do 2 coats so that it kind of doesn't have any bare spots on it. All right, so put that in the light. Okay, I will actually top coat this as well. Just going to use more of the no wipe top coat. Give it a nice little smooth over. Beautiful. Okay. Super easy. All right. Any questions so far? Think we are good?
Yeah, looks good at the moment.
Yes. All right. So second coat for this one. Okay. Pull that on out of here. All right. Okay. I love how smooth they are. Smooth buttercream. Okay, we'll give that a cure. And this time we're gonna switch brushes. So I'm gonna cap this one and I'm gonna go with the swirly brush. You can use anything that has just a short little skinny brush on it because we're going to be doing the thinner lines. I think if you went in with the full size gel brush with the buttercream, it's just going to be too thick, too much, and it's not going to blend well. So we're going to do a little one. And I'm going to take it right out of the pot. We don't need to use a palette for this one. And we're doing top coat first. No wipe top coat. Exactly like we did last time. Gonna float it over the whole nail. Make sure there's no streaks, no dry spots. Okay. And then we are not curing. We are going to go into our pot and just kind of dip it, pick up a tiny bit on there. It's not as much as with the gel polish brush. But then we're going to do the same pattern down the middle. Just little lines. I'll pick up some more. Give it some time to flow. I'm kind of pushing into it again, I think. Just a little bit of pressure to kind of help it get into the top coat. Like so. And then going down the sides. Pick up some more. And then the other side. Sticks in there a little bit, catches some of the top coat. And then we're going to let that flow some more. And as you can see, it is not nearly as much as your P plus is going to go. So keep that in mind when you are choosing your colors, because if you want that big blooming effect, you'll probably want to go with a P plus. Yep, so that's how that looks. Can add a little bit more in here. Okay, I'm going to pop that in light. All right. Any questions on that one?
No questions so far.
Nope. Okay, cool. Okay.
Everybody's locked in.
Yes. All right. So while that is curing, we are going to talk about these ones. Um, Someone asked if P plus would bleed too much. I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. Like if you were trying to do, I was just showing the difference between the two of them. So it kind of just depends on the look you're going for. This green one here is your typical like alligator skin look, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you did the buttercream, and I feel like it kind of gives more of a like snake skin look. But yeah, you can use it. It's just going to give you a different result. And it's not that it bleeds too much. You could do a really skinny swirly brush for the P plus, but your lines will just be skinnier as well. The reason why I did the swirly with the buttercream is because I feel like scooping up the large amount of buttercream with the gel polish brush is just going to be too much clumped in the center. Like it's not going to bleed. It's the opposite of what you're asking. Does that make sense? It's not going to float because it's just a big glob there. Because it's thicker? Yes, okay. So this one is done. I'm going to top coat that. And then you can look at the two of them. Yeah, I think it's kind of a snakeskin look, but it's just to kind of show you the difference between P plus and buttercream. I think those colors are actually very cute together, that purple and pink.
I was gonna say that one's super cute.
Yeah, that turned out well. Okay, so these are exactly the same design. I just used different colors. So what we're doing is a flower. This one's kind of like daisy-ish, and then just like a pink tropical flower. I'm gonna do this color scheme here, but they're done exactly the same way, and you can use whatever colors you want. You just want to make sure that your colors aren't too close to each other, because then it's a little harder to distinguish them, which I think is kind of what happened here. You can see them, but it is quite close in color, so the flower doesn't pop as much. So I'm going to be using a different color scheme for this one, but yeah, so keep that in mind when you're choosing your colors. Okay. So this one is also very easy. All of these designs are so easy to do, very quick and easy and fun. And it's a great way to just add a fast little art to it. Okay, so moving on. So for the base color of this pink one, I'm using Earthling from our little outer space collection. And then for the flower petals, I'm going to be using Miss Martian from the same one. And then on the side here, there's like the little center of the flower. And for that, I'm going to be using Super Freight. So this is like a very cute, bright, summery flower look. All right, so let's get into that one. So we're going to start with Earthling. This is a very soft, like nudish pink. It's got a very subtle glitter in it. It's a nice base color for art. Okay. I don't know if you can see the little glitter shimmer in there, but very cute. Okay, so we're going to cure that. And then I'm going to be putting the pink onto a palette again. Let's wipe this one off. And then for this one, I'm going to be using Swirly again because I want to have the lines on here. You could also use the stripey brush, I would say. If you use the gel polish brush, I think it's going to be too thick again, and we want to have lots of little lines. So I'm going to put a little bit of Miss Martian on here. This is also an example of, based on your question earlier, of what using the little brush with a P plus looks like compared to our other ones and compared to this big gel one. So you can absolutely use the stripey or the swirly or a little brush with the P plus. It's just going to give you a much thinner application. So it just kind of depends on what you're going for. So for the flower, we want the little one. If you tried to use the little one for the alligator look, I don't think it's going to work as well because you can't get the big spread out spots on it. Okay, so little brush for this one. We're going to take our base and cover it with no wipe, same as before. Nice little thick application. No streaky spots. Okay, so now with the swirly brush, I'm gonna pick up, swirl it around in there. Let me see if I can get this closer. Sorry, the zoom is not working, but it's not going to be very thin. I don't want hardly any product on there. I want a decent amount on the little brush so that it has something to kind of spread around. So I'm going to swirl it around in there, get a little glob. And then for application with this flower, I like to start in the middle and then kind of go back and forth every one or two petals. That way, if I start on one side and kind of go through, I feel like one end is a lot more bloomed than the other end by the time you're ready to cure. And then it kind of gives you an off balance look. So if you start in the center and kind of work both sides, you'll get a more even spread across the flower. So let's go for it. Just gonna blob it there and then swipe it down, just like that. Swirl it around, blob it in, and swipe it to the center. Swipe it to the center. That one could use a little more. There we go. You can see it spreading. So cute. That looks nice, so I'm going to pop that in the light. Someone asked if you can mix the top coat into the color to make it bloom more. Was that the question? You could, but I don't think it's necessary. Like mixing P plus into this, I don't think you really need to. I have mixed a buttercream with the top coat to kind of get more of a spread on it, and that does work, but it will make it slightly more sheer. So kind of play around with it and see if that works for you, but that is an option with making buttercream spread a little more. So yeah, it's doable. Okay, so next we're gonna use Super Freak. It's a very pretty, like a hot orange, corally orange color. And our flowers are cured. So now I'm gonna just swirl my brush in there. And in this little area here, I'm just gonna kind of poke some dots. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or perfect. And then just kind of go around like so. You could use yellow or whatever center color you want. Like so. And then that's your little flower center. You can even it up a little bit here. Okay. Very cute. I feel like my petals came out even better there than they did on my sample one. So that's good. Okay, we're going to cure that. And like I said, you can do this in any color. This is the black base, primary black, and then I used white meringue actually. So this was already like a sheer, semi-sheer white. And so it kind of flowed even more, but it is a little bit more subtle. But I know that my clients like this black, white, yellow kind of daisy look a lot of times. So yeah, that's a cute option. But any colors you want to use, little polka dots there for the center. Super cute. All right. I'm gonna top coat that. Any questions on that one? Someone asked if I used white on the black one. It is the white meringue, which is like a semi-sheer milky white. It's not a solid white, but you can absolutely use a white for sure. But yes, this one is the milky white that we have, which is why it's so subtle looking because it is slightly see-through. So if you wanted a stronger daisy look, you can absolutely use the white, the solid white, and then it will give you that kind of look instead. Um, Someone asked if it's like marshmallow, which I believe it is, correct? Marshmallow is the older one.
Marshmallow is a buttercream, but
That's what I thought. Yeah.
the other is a P plus.
Yes. Marshmallow is the buttercream. White meringue. I can show you. Yes, white meringue is our milky white P plus. It's just a semi-sheer, soft white. I use this color all the time. It's very useful. All right, so I'm gonna top coat our flower, and then we will move on to our second flower design. And I'm just using the no wipe top coat for this. You can top coat with whatever you want. The super shiny if you have a hard gel base or whatever you want to. We've already got no wipe out here, so there she is. So cute. You could also do like a sunshine beam on this. If you did it all in like yellow or orange, could kind of give a sunshine look. Also very cute for summer. Okay, so I'm going to cure the top coat on that. And then we're going to talk about this one. So this is another flower design, kind of like another hippie daisy looking design. And like I said, the colors on this one ended up being very close. I think it's a little harder to see on camera than it is in person, but it is a much more subtle look. So I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna do blues for it. So I'm gonna do a soft blue base. This is Ocean Avenue. And then I'm going to do Alien Invasion as the flower petals. And then for this one, I used some gold flakes. You could do whatever you want in the center. Little flakies, even a rhinestone if you wanted. I'm going to use Female and Fabulous, which is a sparkly white. And I'm just going to dot it in the center like we did with the previous flower. Okay. So here's this one. Look how perfect they turned out that time. So cute. All right. I think I saw a question and I missed it. Gold bug? Someone asked or said that gold bug would be a good option. Absolutely, yes. You could do gold bug for the center. It's like a chunky gold that I think is in the glitter gels.
It's a buttercream.
Oh, it is. Okay.
We
I
do have
should
the
know
gold glitter gel that's just
that.
gold. And then gold bug is the buttercream.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do this one here. Let me grab my tip. Okay, so we're gonna paint it with Ocean Avenue. It's a nice soft baby blue. Pretty pastel blue. Okay. And we're going to pop that in the light. And let that cure. Okay. Clean up a little bit here. So someone asked, where did the question go? Okay. The last daisy design, you could do 2 layers on that flower by using no wipe again, and then using an alternate color to bloom in contrast. Yes, I think that would be very doable. Just be careful not to get it too thick, because you do kind of put the no wipe top coat on a little bit thick to give it room to spread. So it will put a little bit of bulk on there. But if you can get it on there thin enough, especially the second coat, I think that would be very fine. And it would be really cute. You could do like the second coat of this and then either lines down the center or overlapping in between to give a more dimensional like sunflower look. Would be very pretty. So yes, I think that would work. Okay, so we have our blue base here. And then this one is done exactly the same way as the side one, but instead of doing one side, we have a whole flower. But I'm gonna do it in the same even siding like we did with the side one. So I'm gonna go top and bottom, side and side first, and then come through and do the in-betweens so that we get that nice even spread across the flower. Okay, so no wipe top coat. Gonna float it on. And do not cure. Get all the edges. All right. That's ready. And then I'm gonna use the palette again. Put some Alien Invasion on there. It's like a tealish blue. My camera always makes teal look very blue, like a denim blue, but it is definitely a green blue, teal color. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing as before. So I'm just gonna kind of swirl it around, get a good amount on there, little drop on the end. And then I'm gonna go pull it down to the center, pull it down to the center, my sides, between them, between them. This one could use a little more. Okay. So there we go. That bottom one is spreading quite a bit. So I'm gonna lock it in there. And then maybe I can try doing that layered look that we talked about. Let's do a second coat of it in the same color or a different blue. No, let's do the same color, I think. Okay, we're gonna try that. So I need the no wipe again. And then once that is cured, I'm gonna put as thin of amount on there as I can so we don't get too bulky. And then we'll try and fill it in some more. I like the color of it though on that blue. It's very pretty. Any questions? Okay. This is what we got so far. And like I said before, it's like kind of got that hippie vibe, you know what I mean? The hippie flowers. It's very cute for summer. This is totally fine on its own too. You could just put your center in, but we are going to go ahead and try doing the double layer. So I'm going to brush that on thinly. Make sure there's no streaky dry spots. Okay, and now I'm going to put, I think I'm going to do less on my brush. And then I'm going to go right in between them. Ooh. Okay, that's what that looks like. I think it needs a second color. So it's good that we tested this out. So I'm going to wipe this one off and try it with a different color. So I guess that answers our question from before. Okay, let's do it with, what do I have here? Another blue. I have ocean jelly. Perhaps that will look cute. Let's give it a try. And then if not, I'll just wipe it off and we'll stick with this. Okay.
We have a question in the chat here.
What's the question? Let's see.
Is there a problem with the no wipe top coat not adhering to the unbuffed no wipe top coat, or do you not top coat these designs?
I am top coating the designs and I have never had a problem with it adhering. Like the double top coating it? No, I've never had a problem with it adhere. I don't know if somebody else has. And I would still top coat it because there is a little bit of a colored gel in there. So I know it kind of gets pushed into the top coat, but I think there could still be some tackiness in there. So that's why I top coat it. And because when you do this design, you can kind of get a lot of bumps since you're like pushing into your base coat or your top coat. So it's not going to be smooth. So that's why I would top it. But yeah, if it's peeling, then you can absolutely buff it. I don't think it would hurt it if you buff it lightly and then top coat it. I've never had a problem with it peeling, but yeah, it's definitely possible. So if you want extra assurance, give it a really light buff and then top coat it. Okay, and I cured that very light ocean jelly. And so we'll take a closer look at that in a second. Okay. It's taking forever when you're waiting on one. There we go. Okay. Can you see ocean jelly in there? It kind of gave like a little aura effect, which is actually really cute. I'm glad we tried that. Okay. So then I'm going to go in with Female and Fabulous. It is a white and it's got a very tiny sparkle in there that's hard to see on camera. And we're going to do the exact same thing. You could also use a dotting tool for this if you wanted. But I'm just going to use the swirly brush again and dab some white spots into the center all around like so. And that's everything. It's like a little tropical blue flower. Pop that into the light and let that cure. Okay. So we are done with those ones. Let me get that out of the way. And wipe this off. And we have one design left. Um, yes, some people are asking if we have a discount code. We do, and I will be going over that again at the end. But I do think Ashley popped it in there. It's Farah0107, but I will remind you all again at the end as well. So let's take a look at our flower design. Almost done.
I have
Okay.
one question that just popped up here. Uh,
Yes.
she said, is it better to thin out buttercream, color gel, gel paint with a base or top coat for any kind of art, not necessarily blooming?
Um, no. Because typically when you're doing art, you kind of want the thicker consistency. Like most art gels come very thick. So I think that's usually what you want from an art gel, which is really nice with buttercream that you can use it both ways. And then if you give it a stir, it gets a little bit more flowy, a little bit more runnier. But so yeah, it's got a bit of versatility there. But I don't know if you could thin it out, I suppose, but I don't know what kind of art you want to do with it thinned out, but yeah, that's you can. All of our products play really well together. They mix well, so you can absolutely do that if you're looking for a thinner consistency or some art in one of them. There that is. Is that ocean jelly showing up on the camera? A
Yes, that
little
looks so
or
cute.
it's very cute. Okay. So our next one, someone asked base or top for mixing with the buttercream. I think either would be okay. Maybe base. What do you think, Ashley?
I usually say top coat only
Top?
because it gives a little more clarity because it's the clearest, unless you want to mix
Yes,
with like one step.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
But either would technically work.
Yeah. Because yeah, all of the light elegance mixes very well and will fully cure. So it's safe to do so. Okay, so our last design, we are going to be playing with the jelly colors and then kind of blending just over the whole nail. And so I'm going to be using fuchsia jelly, emerald jelly, ocean jelly, grape jelly, and lemon lime jelly. Basically all of them except for hot pink, but because I already have a pink on here, but if you want to use a hot pink, you absolutely can. Whatever colors you want to use. I'm just going for the whole rainbowy look. And then I've also added in some flakes in here, as you can see. I've got some little flakes here. Light Elegance does not have any, so I'm just using some of this brand. And they're very pretty. Love this look. Okay, and this one is also very easy. I think this one requires the least amount of technique or skill or precision. We're really just kind of blending everything in. Okay, so there's our two flowers. Very cute. This one is giving very beachy vibes, and I love that. All right. So let's move on to our little jelly one. So I'm not even going to do a base color on here. I'm just going to cover the whole nail with the jelly. Okay. So I'm going to get the palette again. And I'm going to just put a little bit of each color onto the palette. However much you put on here kind of depends on how many nails you're doing. I'm just doing one nail, so we don't need a lot. Someone asked what clear product we are using for the blooming, and that is P Plus No Wipe Top Coat. Works really great for blooming. That is our newest top coat, and it's amazing. I use it all the time. Okay, blue. And finally, we've got the pink. Someone asked if you can use one step or hard gel for blooming. I've never tried it with the super shiny. I don't know if Ashley has. As for one step, I feel like it's a little too thick in my opinion. I don't think it would bloom as well. But I don't know if anybody here has tried it.
One step I think is definitely too thick.
Yeah, I would
Even
think
though
so.
it does self-level, it's definitely too thick. But I do use super shiny. It just blooms a lot slower and it just gives a different look.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I figured. I would think one step would be too thick. Okay, so I'm just starting straight on here with the no wipe top coat. Since I'm not doing a base coat, a base color. You could, if you wanted to, have like a stronger color underneath, but the jellies are see-through, so I don't think you'd want to do anything dark or anything like that. So we're just gonna go with this light, soft jelly color as our only color on here. So I've got it all onto the palette, and I've got my top coat on here. So I'm going to actually switch to the block brush. This one works great for this. It's like a little mini version of the gel brush. It's just a little tiny scooper. So kind of the same thing we did with this one, where we're just kind of smushing it into the wet layer. We're going to do that again with the tiny brush and our jelly colors. Okay, so we got this nice and wet, not cured, and then I'm just gonna scoop a little bit of each one and dab them all around. Doesn't matter which one you start or how you do it, just kind of working it. And then I'm gonna switch to the blue. I didn't wipe my brush off because that kind of gives you like a little blended look there. Spacing them out and then just filling in all of the empty space. And letting it flow together. Switching colors again.
That is so pretty.
So easy to do.
I'm obsessed.
And then filling in all the empty spots. Someone asked if adding chrome to these would work. Absolutely. If it's a sheer chrome, make sure that some chromes are solid, and so it doesn't matter what base color you put on, and then some are sheer, and so it like changes the base color. If you have any that are sheer, it would look very cool on top of this. And no wipe top coat has become my new favorite for chroming as well, so double use there. So now we've got that pretty well covered. I'm letting it kind of flow together. You can come in and play with it as much as you want. Blend them out. But I think it's done that pretty well on its own. And it's self-leveling quite nicely into the top coat. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm gonna pop that into the light. And wipe my brush off. And that's just about it for that one.
I feel like Pretty
So
Kitty top coat would be so pretty over that.
it would be. You could absolutely do that. We could try it. I'm going to add some flakies first. If you wanted to do chrome instead of flakes, that would be very pretty on this. For this one, I just got a little brush and dabbed some of the flakes randomly on it and then top coated. So very easy, very quick. If you wanted to chrome it, I would suggest giving it a buff again if you're worried about that, and then brush top coating it. That way there's no bumps because that shows up very easily in chrome. So give it a nice fresh coat of the no wipe, cure it, and then chrome it. So let me grab that out of the light. Here we go. And then I'm gonna use the flakes and then maybe we'll top it with Pretty Kitty and see how that looks. All right, switching over here to some flakes. Be careful when you're using flakes because they kind of poof up easily. I try not to breathe hard on them or they'll go everywhere. And then I'm just gonna grab some random cheap brush here that doesn't matter. So I can get these on here. And then very lightly dab into the flakes and just kind of spot them on there a little bit, wherever, randomly. So pretty. Okay, there we go. This is a beautiful spring summer look too. I would absolutely wear this. I love flakes. Okay, so very easy. Now we are gonna try the Pretty Kitty top coat since that was suggested, and I think it will be really pretty on top of there. If you are chroming them, this isn't a class on chroming, but you definitely want to make sure you kind of like buff your edges, and you can use tack if you want to kind of seal your chrome in there, whatever technique works for you. I know there's a lot of different ways people do it, but I wouldn't just go in and top coat because chrome loves to peel. Okay, Pretty Kitty. Got that right here. This is like a see-through silvery cat eye top coat. Grab a magnet. Okay. All right, so let's top coat it with our cat eye top coat. Okay. This look is so cute. Beautiful. Okay. And then magnetize it. Can you guys see that okay? Ooh,
Stunning.
yes. Okay. It's kind of got the glitter all pushed over on the top, or you can pull it to the side or the tip, however you want to do it.
Man, it looks like one of those I'm dating myself here a little bit, but the Easter eggs, like in the clear jelly Easter eggs in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's reminding me of.
So cute. Okay, so we're gonna pop that in the light. With the cat eyes, you want to be kind of quick to put it in there because sometimes the glitter is in cat eyes can kind of disperse as they sit. Okay, get this cleaned up a little bit. Wipe my palette off. All right. And let's look at everything we have done today. Okay, so that's the old one. We've got our alligator, our purple snake skin, our Hawaiian flower, our little ocean hippie flower, and finally, this is our beautiful rainbowy smudged jelly one with our cat eye top coat. That was a great suggestion. It looks really pretty, very dimensional. Okay, so there they are.
So
I
pretty.
love them. Can't pick a favorite. Okay, I lied.
I like that
Maybe
little, I
this is
know.
my
I was
favorite.
like, I know which one's my favorite. I
Yeah,
want that on my
okay,
nails right now.
for sure. I think that's our secret favorite. Okay, so now if you guys want to unmute and ask any questions, you are welcome to do so. I will try my best to answer, and I'm sure Ashley will help me.
Absolutely.
Okay, no questions. Go
I
for
think
it.
not.
Nothing. Explained
Think
everything pretty
so.
well.
I think so. I think everybody was really, really focused the whole time.
Yeah. And
Plus,
super
like you did
easy.
an awesome job at getting to the chat too while you're working. So
Yes, thank you. I tried.
I'm gonna double check back and make sure there wasn't anything that I starred that we didn't
Okay,
get. Um, oh, we got that question. Okay. No, I think we got everything. So
perfect. So pretty. And all of them were honestly so quickly when you're doing them. It's like 5 seconds, line, dot, dot, whatever. And it goes very quickly. And then you just pop them in the light, and that's it. Okay, so I guess to wrap it up, some things to note. We do have our Light Elegance University 2.0. We have updated all of the education, so you guys should definitely check that out if you haven't yet. And we are going to be trying to offer more classes in person this year, so also keep an eye out for that. I do have a discount code for being in this class. It is FARA0107, which is today's date. It is 20% off, and it is good for a whole week until our next Power Hour rolls out. So make sure you use that. I hope I got all of the products listed well. I think I did. So if you ever want to get any of these specific ones, now is the time to do so. If you would like to follow me on social, please do. It's Farah Rose Nails on all of them. So I have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, the whole shebang. Would love to have you guys on there. And what else? Next week's Power Hour is Christy Angel, and she's going to be doing jellies. So if you liked what we did here and you want to see more fun jelly art, they are very versatile and fun to use. So go ahead and check her out next week. So one last look at everything we did today. So cute. I guess that's it. I don't have much else to add. I'm going to be doing another class next month and hopefully some more throughout the year. So keep an eye out for that. And that's it.
yep. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you
Thank
next week.
you. Bye.